Welcome to another edition of Inside UFLB. My name is Dean Millard, the head of baseball for UFF Sports, and proud to be the commissioner of Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball, presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports and broadcast proudly on Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. Some interesting times in Major League Baseball, and we have one kind of clear mission on this show, and this is what we're all about.
This is a serious message. Peace and love. Peace and love.
27 straight outs in baseball is a perfect game. This show will try to be exactly 27 minutes from when we started. You see the ticker there, and yeah, it's time to get into things. Big thanks, of course, to our title sponsor, Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports. It is the most realistic fantasy platform, the only fantasy sports platform on the blockchain, and now at UFFsports.com, you can check it out. Our brand new NFT marketplace. The Ultimate NFTs is where you can find those, and it is amazing. They will be available soon. Go check it out. www.uffsports.com. There is the wicked website right there, and man, this is something that you will love to check out. Our digital athlete NFTs. Some exclusives there as well for Terrence Bud Crawford. So check that out at www.uffsports.com and get in the NFT game.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? Then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
All right, so this is how you can get in touch with us on the show. I'm at Duck Millard. You can also get at the UFLB, and you can check out the scouting Twitter handle as well, at UFLB_scouting. Brian Hernandez is running that one. Info UFLB at UFFsports.com. If you would like to learn a little bit more about the league, we can send you out some information. And if you'd like to get on UFSN, email UFSN at UFFsports.com. And check out, once again, the website, www.uffsports.com. All right, so on the show today, we're going to chat with Sean Latta, who is the GM for the franchise under the Five Eyes Entertainment Group. We'll have a conversation about what he expects, what he's looking forward to, and his previous history with fantasy sports and UFFS. And I also wanted to just point out that, right now is Major League Baseball free agency period. And if you haven't checked out the rule book, you can do so. It's pinned in our Telegram chat, or you can email us and we will send it out. But when you look at some particular spots when it comes to free agency, you can find this one on page 15, section 9.9. These are the ways that a free agent becomes a free agent. Scouts can request that any player is considered a free agent during the regular season. So these are the ways. When a Major League Baseball player becomes a free agent, UFLB teams will have 24 hours upon that player signing his MLB contract to decide if you want the player and continue. So just for an example, if for whatever reason you had Noah Syndergaard on your UFLB team, he signs a new contract and you didn't want to keep it, you have 24 hours to say, no, we don't want it. I don't know why you would do that. I actually think that is a good move by the Angels. I know there's some injury jokes out there, but if it pays off, it's a one-year deal. I like it. So anyway, just using that as an example. Anybody signs, you have 24 hours. Anybody becomes a free agent, you have 24 hours. An arbitration ruling for a new contract, you have 24 hours. So keep in mind that 24-hour rule that you have to make a decision on your free agent. If you do not inform the league, we will just assume that you are keeping that free agent and that contract, which is most of the time what happens. When you get into some of the older players that maybe don't have that Legends League value as much as some others, you see teams walking away in some of the other sports that we've had. So, as for free agency, the players become a free agent one day after the World Series and cannot sign until 5 days after. And franchises who have free agents within 6 years, that's how you become a free agent in Major League Baseball. You need to decide if you're taking on the contract or not. It's pretty self-explanatory. It is in the rule book. Again, section 9.9 and 9.10, pages 15 and 16. Also, If you head to UFFsports.com in the news section, you can find out about the international player process and the new competition committee. So lots of good information there for new owners, new to the UFFS platform, and for this league to find out what the process will be. As we stated in that article, this will all be contingent on making sure we have the correct information. That is being worked on right now. And one of the benefits we have of having the rollout that we do before this league starts. So pretty good stuff. I think the owners should like what we worked on. Brian Hernandez did some great work on the amateur scouting side for us to come up with those details. So check it out in the news section at uffsports.com. All right, when we come back, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk to one of the newest GMs in the league, Sean Latta, who is a member of Five Eyes Entertainment Group. So we will be chatting with Sean right after this.
Don't try to strike everybody out. Strikeouts are boring. Besides that, they're fascist.
Presented by Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports.
Throw some ground ball. More democratic.
Get in the game, where you own the game.
Big thanks to the title sponsor, Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports, and their brand new NFT marketplace. You have to check it out. www.uffsports.com. And then you can see all the sweet sports, the ultimate in NFTs, where NFTs come to play. That's where you have to check it out. uffsports.com. And those will be ready to be purchased very soon, giving you a real cool sneak peek into what you can expect with UFF Sports as we really unveil and get into the NFT market. So check out the ultimate NFT marketplace at www.uffsports.com. Very pleased to welcome into the program the GM for the franchise purchase by the Five Eyes Entertainment Group. Sean Latta is my guest on Inside UFLB today. Sean, thank you so much for being a part of the show today, and of course for being a part of UFLB and UFFS. Let's start there. How did you get involved with Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports?
You know, Dean, first of all, thanks for having me. And I've been kind of a fan watching from the sidelines here for about, I don't know, six months, as Five Eyes has been starting their journey. I was in on some hockey conversations and things, couldn't get some things worked out, but that's okay. Still loved following it as a fan and just kept on the sidelines. And when a baseball opportunity came up, had some conversations, and here I am today on the show.
That's awesome. I love that you almost had that FOMO, right? Of like, oh, I need to get involved in this. And now you are. So it's really a great story when people can, get involved and they realize how much fun this can be. And there's a lot of other things to go with it as, the investment in the business side. But, I love to focus on the fun part. And I think baseball is going to be a lot of fun. What was the tipping point for you to say, I want to be involved in baseball?
There's a couple things. One, baseball we know is quite a large game with so many independent events, and the prospect pool is vast, and the team is vast, and the game is vast. So there's so many entry points and so much competition angles and so much ways to go about it that I think everyone has a legitimate shot. That there's opportunities. If you're smart to make right moves. Unlike other sports where there's maybe 6 people on the court, like a basketball, or where it's fairly, in my perspective, a lot more limited. I like the opportunity and the openness of the game. Not to mention I'm a fan. Baseball kind of runs a little bit in my family. I've got a son-in-law who's involved in the system. He just finished his D1 career, so I'm not going to draft him. Don't worry. There's no issues there, but no, seriously love the game and love the opportunities that what's ahead of us.
Well, we do have an NFT marketplace now, so you never know. Maybe you'll see your son-in-law as a ultimate NFT with UFF Sports. Wouldn't that be something as well? What about fantasy sports in general? What's your background? How long have you been playing? What do you love about fantasy sports?
Yeah, great question. First and foremost, I was always a hockey. Living up here in Canada, hockey was my first love, and I've been involved in various leagues, probably honestly going on 15, 20 years in the hockey market. Really, really enjoy it, really know the game, really love the camaraderie that comes with the ownership and playing GM and feeling like you can make a difference, even though we have literally no control over the game, but we play that, we do. And so I took a lot of experience there, and I've dabbled in a few other sports over the past years, baseball specifically, but really just love the competition and love to be a builder. I think that's my biggest passion. I love to be a builder.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the great thing about this is you get to start from square one, building a hopeful championship roster, and leaning on the guidance of the group with Five Eyes Entertainment. I guess let's talk about that. The involvement. I know you said we're trying to get involved in hockey. What's it like being part of that group now?
Yeah, I've known all of them for quite a long time, through various fantasy situations and personal situations. But what was really exciting about the Five Eyes group is their passion and commitment to the platform. Right, they've sold me on the platform right from the start, right from the UFF Sports. And as I think most of our viewers probably know, they're one of the few that have teams and stakes in all four of the leagues. And so we see the future the same way. We've got a great plan laid out, and we're really excited about the direction we got going for baseball. And so it was not hard to get on board. Not hard to get on board with a group of people that are absolutely dedicated as much as I see myself going forward in this process.
Well, and that's such an interesting aspect of this is, yes, it's fantasy sports on the blockchain, and fantasy sports are supposed to be fun. And that's what even when you're losing, you still should be having fun in fantasy sports, but it's very serious. It's professional fantasy sports. And, the Five Eyes group, the Seven Seas blockchain sports group with Alex Muczynski, these people are looking at this as this can be fun, but also a very successful business model in professional fantasy sports, which has never been done before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's not, we don't just sit around drinking beer and having conversations about this. We've got business plans and we have meetings and yet there's like you keep coming back to, Dean, there's a fun component. Who doesn't love sitting and talking about sports? We feel you're excited. The passion comes out. You want to make a difference. You want to. I mean, let's face it. We're all competitive. I don't believe there's any one of us in this 30 team league or in any of the leagues that don't want to win, because we have that competitive juice flowing, and so we still have that drive and we still have the passion, and we can do it on a professional level. Although it's a professional fantasy level, we're still professionals. We are a professional franchise GM, and that's kind of cool.
I agree. And, the branding that goes in, we've seen the amazing branding in the other leagues. I cannot wait to see what we get in UFLB. And, there are business decisions. There are merchandise decisions. There are things that franchises will be able to capitalize on as our platform grows even more. But on the specifically baseball side of things, what are you expecting from UFLB as compared to some of the other fantasy baseball leagues that you've been a part of?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't know what I'm expecting. And that's what I'm so excited about, because when you're just taking part with friends, you've always got the friend angles. When you're taking part with complete strangers, it's not uncommon to see, checking out halfway through. But in this, I'm excited because I don't know what to expect. what I can expect is we're going to have 30 franchises that are absolutely engaged in what we're doing, absolutely buying into the platform, buying into the concept, and that will bring out the competitive juices and the best in all of us, and that's pretty cool.
That is, it's so well said. So I know, of course, one of your favorite ball players to watch is your son-in-law. But on the major league level, who are guys that you like to watch if you're flipping through and you're looking at a game to pick? Who catches your eye when you're watching ball?
Generally, pitching is what kind of draws my attention. And maybe that's easy. I don't know. So there's always a fascination with how a pitcher handles a game and how they interact and how they go out. So I'm watching, and I don't really. I think if I'm from a fan perspective, I'll lean to the Blue Jays just because it's easy to get information on them and they're a young, exciting team. But I'll watch anyone. Nothing better than watching a good pitcher batter battle. In fact, some of my favorite ones this year were the Zimmerman brothers going at each other and watching the interaction and the smiling after that. But yeah, I'm a pitcher fan.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Oral Hershiser was my favorite player growing up and a favorite pitcher as well. But I can have a ball game during the baseball season. My one TV in the office is almost always either on the MLB network or just having a game on the background because it's comforting. It's something, for me that I just like to look up every once in a while. If I'm working away, I'm not, paying attention to everything, but it's on and then you tune in. It's just, I don't know, for me, it's kind of like comfort viewing in the background.
Yeah. And the other neat thing you can do with baseball, I think, is you can look at a stat line or stat sheets or the scoreboard on paper, and you can almost replay the game in your head. Unlike looking at a hockey box score, you can get the general idea of a game, but looking at a score sheet of a baseball game, you can replay the game in your head, and that's a neat little factor of baseball that I've always enjoyed.
Yeah, I love scoring baseball too. We used to do that playing Stratomatic all the time. That's where I learned how to do it, and I love going to baseball games and taking my scorebook and trying to remember all the things. So I love that. But speaking of scoring, what do you think of the scoring system for UFLB? A long season-long points, and then we go head-to-head, but still total points in the playoffs with the wild card, divisional, conference, and then the championship. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've always preferred the head-to-head format myself. I don't know, just personal preference, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. So the roto format, kind of cool. The categories, I've got a lot of learning to do, and I've got to see how it plays out. And there's some new things in there that okay, I gotta get a good handle on. A perfect example is WHIP when it comes to pitchers. Well, that can be a team-based stat too. So it's a little interesting how we're going to play that, or how our franchise is going to manage all of the new little nuances, because I don't think it's going to be cut and dried as some of the leagues I've participated in the past, which I'm grateful for.
Do you have a favorite stat, as a pitching fan? Is it strikeouts, or, just as in fantasy baseball in general, do you have a favorite stat?
I always fall to strikeouts per nine, Ks per nine, that, because it's more of an equalization kind of stat. When you think about it, it really gives you a quick ability to compare a pitcher, whether they're a starter, whether a middle reliever, whether a closer, right? So yeah, I jumped to that Ks per nine just as my first look. Okay, yeah, that's where he's at.
It's interesting, when we were developing this league, and, Matt Soren and Brian Hernandez in the early stages worked with us on the scoring system, and then Matt and I really fine-tuned it down the stretch. But we were using Fantrax as our base, and, we went with the ranges because during a season-long points, that's how you can do it. But this is the thing. The rule book is now in the owner's hands, and we have those meetings coming up in January. there are proposals that could be made, just like in our other leagues. As we know, they go to the founding committee first, and then if they're approved and they're not platform issues, they come back to the owners and they can vote. So the owners will be able to have some sort of say. I would recommend, if there are owners out there that want to make changes, you do it now before you get into a year. And we're experiencing that in hockey a little bit, a few rule changes each year. Any rule change after the start of the first season goes in gradually over a 3-year period, because teams are going to build their roster based on the rules they are given. So there is an opportunity before the season starts for an ownership group or a GM or somebody to put forth maybe a scoring category addition or change or something that will be available to the owners. And I think the run-up time that we have makes that really important, I think, for the 30 franchises in this league.
And that's what's great about the UFLB is the responsiveness to each other and the responsiveness to the game. There's great things in our rule book already, right? I don't think we need any kind of massive changes. But what I love is as a group, if we feel a shift, there's a mechanism for that. That often doesn't happen in leagues in general. So that's an exciting framework that the UFLB has built around. So it's something I sure appreciate.
Okay, so I'm not asking for a draft strategy, but you're picking in the 21 hole out of 30. I think baseball is a little bit different. In every sport, you're still getting a star player in that first round. Yeah. But comfortable in that 21 hole? Are you thinking I got my work cut out for me, or are you thinking this is a good spot to be in? I'm okay.
Without giving up any draft strategy,
that's
you
right.
always want to be in. You always want to be in a higher point. I don't think if anyone comes out and says, yeah, I'm really comfortable where I'm at. Yeah, you'd love to be 2 more, but we're comfortable that we can build with our plans in mind in 21. We had eyes for a little bit different of a spot, but as we all know, with some record, I think it was 66 extra innings, and some changes right at the end, we didn't end up where we wanted, but that's okay. The baseball, there is a lot of players out there, and you and I might be looking for different things in the same spots. So
100%.
that's what's exciting.
And it's just the draft. I mean, there is, trades and drafting after that for, prospects and different things. There are so many different ways to build franchises in UFFS and in all of our leagues. So I think it's really cool. Okay, this is the final question. And I think you'll be able to answer this because you guys are drafting 21st. Let's assume Shohei Ohtani goes first overall because of the dual eligibility, and it's just such a valuable asset as long as he's healthy, and that's the caveat for everything. Who are some of the guys that you think have a good chance at going at number 2?
It's funny that you even say Shohei Ohtani, and I don't know if I was in one, I would go that way. But I can see that why people would. I still probably wouldn't go that way. For me, it's always I think it's a toss-up between Soho and Tatis in those top, or Soto and Tatis, sorry, in those top 2 spots. Even 2, 3. Their age, the ability, the game-breaking ability of both of them. But if you had to pin me down, I'd probably go with Soto, strictly because his, less strikeouts and more on base, ability, like more walks, better eye at the plate. Tatis still has to learn to settle his swing down a little bit. He still swings and misses a few too much, but I could see them also going 4 and 5. You got some other great young players out there. So if I'm in 1 to 6, there's probably 6 guys that I'd be okay with.
Yeah, I said it on the live show that we had, I think it was the Friday night. If you're like 1 to 6, you literally could, Ohtani being the difference because of the dual eligibility. But even that, you could literally draw out of a hat and be happy with one of those 6 players. They're that great. I mean, in the NHL, I think it's McDavid and everybody else. There's great players, but points wise and fantasy wise, there's that. We've seen quarterbacks go, really, really high. In baseball, I would be, if I was one of these owners and I was in 1 to 6, I'm loving it because I know I'm getting a bona fide superstar they're all kind of on equal levels, I think, right now. And
young and long careers ahead, right? So I I agree. And I mean, injuries aside, and that's always going to be the caveat on any player.
Right.
But I think you mentioned it earlier, Dean. You're getting a player in the first round, even at 30, that you're probably walking away with and saying, yeah, look at who we've got. This is awesome. So 1 to 6, you're right, toss up. But there are a lot of great young players in the game that lots of franchises are going to be happy to build their team around.
100%. Sean, thank you so much. What a great conversation. I really enjoyed this. Look forward to getting to know you and all the owners and GMs a lot more through this program. And hopefully someday in person we can all get together and have a game of catch and celebrate and watch some baseball. But thanks so much for joining me on Inside UFLB, and best of luck in the process.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, Dean.
That was a really fun conversation with Sean, and I really appreciate his time. If you're looking for more information about either Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball or UFF Sports in general, maybe you want to get in on the Ultimate Sports NFTs, UFFsports.com. Head there and then spread your wings across the website. It's absolutely outstanding. Geez, I almost had a chance to get in a perfect game here, but I'm running out of time and I'm not going to be able to do it. So, unfortunately, we will not have a perfect game because I need to remind all of the owners out there in UFLB that your 50% of your franchise fee is due on December 1st. Make sure you contact Liz. All the information is in the Telegram chat, has been emailed out. Do not wait in case there are complications. No branding can be done until you're fully paid. Full payment isn't until December 31st, but 50% of that payment has to come on December 1st. Also, as Sean and I talked about, if you have a proposal for the owners' meetings, you can start sending them in. We'll compile them, and then we will get them back to you. If indeed they get through to the owners' meetings, we will have a number of things for the owners to decide on as well. So lots of things to think about, and we'll be providing some of that information, some of the things that you as owners will have to decide about this league. Also, don't forget Ultimate Fantasy World Juniors franchise auction this weekend. Email Andrea Karanduk if you want in, akaranduk@gmail.com. That's ACHARANDUK@gmail.com. That is going to be a lot of fun. Inside UFLB is part of Ultimate Fantasy Sports Network. UFSN is your one-stop fantasy sports shop. If you would like to get your fantasy sports show on the network, hit them up. UFS Network on Twitter or UFSN@UFFsports.com is how you can email them. One more piece of advice. Didn't work out that well because of the loudness, but it's Kevin Costner telling you to be cocky and arrogant even when you're getting beat, which might just come in handy for some fantasy franchises. You can always have a big night, that's for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in to Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball of Inside Ultimate Fantasy League Baseball. We will chat once again next week. Have yourselves a great weekend.